Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you took some time today to spend with us to talk about health and wellness. My name is Dan Thorward, and I'm going to be presenting to you today on a topic we're calling heart health for dummies, how to optimize your heart health and how your heart health can impact your cognition as well. I'm really excited about this topic. My background is that I'm a paramedic and registered nurse. I worked at the James Cancer Hospital for many years in intensive care. And I now am the executive director at Kemper House Worthington, working in the field of Alzheimer's and dementia care. So my background is in public health and in nursing, paramedicine, and wellness. So I hope that that gives some context for what we'll discuss today. So by the end of our time together, we should know the warning signs of less than optimal heart health. We should know how the heart should act and why it doesn't often do what it's supposed to do. We should know about heart healthy habits and how that connection between heart health and the brain helps impact cognition. So let's go unpack all this here in a short time of 15 minutes. We'll see how we do. I promise to try to get all through all this here in the next 15 minutes. So just to begin, guys, I have no relationships to disclose to you. No one's paying me to talk to you today. I have no relationships with product companies or pharmaceuticals to sell you. I simply want, as a nurse, to share this information with you so that you can make good choices about your health. I am the executive director, as I mentioned, at Kemper House Worthington, which means I basically function as the Kemper House's CEO, and I'm in charge of all the operations for the building. I want you to know that as I'm disclosing my disclosures to you. And again, my background is in nursing and education and wellness and leadership. So those are the things that I've done with my life and I've studied, and that's the context with which I'm coming to you today. So let's start with this, guys. What's killing America? Well, that's a really good question. And if we can answer that question, we can start to fight back against those things that are. We're going to see some themes today that have to do with exercise and health and healthy diet, things that we have control over to try to improve our health. So let's take a look at these numbers. Now, these numbers are not the numbers from this year, but as you can see, consistently, heart disease is the #1 killer of people in the United States, followed secondarily and closely by cancer. And in most recent years, those two disease processes have been fighting each other out for the top spot. Now, also, if you were to put this year's numbers in for coronavirus, which are not included in this slide as this is not 2020's data, you would see that coronavirus actually lands as our #3 cause of death and mortality in the United States currently. So it's very likely that this year will finish with coronavirus being the #3 cause of death here. But the top two, heart disease and cancer, those are the things we're going to talk about today. And take a look at that illustration there. It says preventable causes of death. That's what we're going to focus on and where our health habits can help us. Now, all those diseases that are tied together in this continuum, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, even some parts of cancer, are all interconnected. Stroke, heart attack, all that stuff is all your organ's ability to stay healthy. And how your heart stays healthy is the same way that your brain stays healthy, is the same way that your kidneys stay healthy. And we're going to talk about those things here in just a minute. But first, I want to point out to you that all of these diseases have cholesterol, alcohol addiction, smoking, obesity. All of those things under that modifiable column you see there are things that we can impact. You can change your cholesterol. If you have a high cholesterol level in your blood, you can talk to your doctor. You can stop eating things that have cholesterol in them. You can control how much you drink. You can control how much you smoke. You can control your weight by exercise and diet and eating healthy. And you can even impact your hypertension. The only things you can't change about yourself are your age. That's unchangeable. The gender that you were born with genetically cannot be changed. You can change your gender cosmetically and hormonally, but not genetically. That is something you are stuck with when you're born. Same thing with heredity. The genes that make you you are unchangeable once you're born. Those genes are yours forever. So those things you cannot change, but everything else on that list, look at that, you can change, which means that the biggest causes of these diseases you can impact by what you choose to do. Common risk factors for all these diseases are the same. That's that list we just went through. Obesity, hypertension, smoking, cholesterol. And it isn't until you get to age that you see something there that you can't change. Alcohol use you can impact, and then your gender and your genetics, those you really can't change as easily, but all that other stuff you have power over. Modern medicine typically waits till it's too late to impact these diseases. You have your heart attack, and then you go downtown to Ohio State there, or to Riverside, and you have your big bypass surgery, or you have stents put in your heart. That point, you've already had damage done. It's too late. You're just sort of pushing away all those years of bad choices to let blood flow through those arteries again. And that same disease process in your heart is the same as it is in your brain. It's the same as it is in your kidneys. It's the same as it is in your liver. The cumulative choices we make every day to eat unhealthily and not exercise are the things that cause those plaques to build up and those cholesterols to develop and form those blockages and lesions in our hearts and brains. And we have a lot of things that we can do to push back against them. The focus here that I'm talking to you about is on prevention. Before you have the heart attack, before you have the stroke, you can be very impactful. The problem is there's not a lot of money there. There's a lot of business behind trying to do your angioplasty. There's not a lot of business behind someone saying, maybe instead of Wendy's, the farmer's market might be a better choice for you today. There's no money in that. There's no, McDonald's has hundreds of millions of dollars that they spend to try to get you to come eat at their restaurant and serve you unhealthy food. But no one is trying to sell you kale and broccoli and try to get you to eat more healthfully. Not in the same way that these companies have marketing campaigns. So let's take a look here at some things that are more clinical, numbers to know. Typically, we say that the average blood pressure is 120 over 100 or over 80. That's 120 over 80. And it's not really a fraction. We write it like that, but it's really the 120 is the pressure in millimeters of mercury in your arteries when your heart is squeezing. That's the top number. The second number is the pressure in your arteries when your heart is at rest. And that's why that bottom number is so important, because that bottom number is the pressure your heart has to squeeze against to push blood forward in your arterial system. So as that bottom number starts to go up, it gets harder and harder for your heart to have to push against that back pressure to push blood forward to your brain and your kidneys and your liver and your heart. And the 120, that's how hard it's pushing when it's squeezing as hard as it can. The systolic and the diastolic numbers. Again, not really a fraction, more just the first number and the second number. Cholesterol, we should try to keep our total cholesterol under 200. At Ohio State, where I used to work, when we would send cholesterol out to the lab, it would come back. If it said less than 200, it was considered normal. But I have to tell you that the American diet is not really a healthy diet. And to be normal in the United States may not be a healthy thing. Really, we should try to keep our total cholesterol closer to 150. 150 would be ideal, and the lower the better. And that's total cholesterol, total cholesterol. Your heart rate typically runs between 60 and 100 beats a minute. As someone exercises and develops their cardiovascular resistance and endurance, their pulse can drop. Some very elite athletes only have pulses in the 40s and 50s because their body is so efficient. They don't really need to have a faster pulse than that. Blood glucose, that's the sugar that is carried around in your blood to your organs. And typically we say it's between 60 and 100. But honestly, over time, that number is starting to come down lower and lower, so that we want to keep that number in a range that is healthy, but not so low that it makes you dizzy or have any issues from it. But over time, we're finding that higher and higher blood sugars really aren't healthy. Keeping that number lower and lower really is the best way to go. And of course, our weight, healthy weight's based on your body type, your muscle mass to fat ratio, and your age and other things too. So honestly, weight is not the best number alone to determine your healthiness, but it is a good one to keep track of as you're moving through a healthy program to keep yourself healthy. So what are the benefits of exercise? That's something we can all do. Well, exercise can help you control your weight by burning calories. It can help control your blood pressure by making your cardiovascular system work and exercise. So again, we've talked about just a minute ago how athletes sometimes have lower pulse rates because their heart doesn't need to pump as fast. And with exercise over time, you can improve the functionality of your heart and your lungs. Stress reduction, running and walking and getting out and doing something active can really help with your stress. It can help with your self-esteem. It can make you feel better about yourself when you get out and do it. You can give you more energy, and it can help you sleep better. So really, those are all pluses there. We want to make sure that when we exercise, that we're thinking in a well-rounded way. People who just lift weights and do nothing else, people who just run and do nothing else, Being healthy really is a combination of those things together. Flexibility, the ability to move your limbs and have good range of motion. Cardio strength or cardio endurance is important, and of course strength training too. And it's all of those things together that make us the healthiest we can be in a more well-rounded kind of way. Here's the thing, guys. If you can't take anything else from exercise in our discussion today, take this. It's never too early to start, or it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start, and you can start where you are. If you're someone who feels intimidated by going for a run today, that's not where you should start. You should start by going outside and walking around your house once. You should go out and walk up and down your block once. Start where you are and then build from there. You don't need a trainer to tell you, why don't you try walking around the block today? And maybe tomorrow you walk around a block and a half. And then next week, try walking around 3 blocks. It doesn't mean pick up the weights and hit the gym. That can be really intimidating to people. Start where you are. And so it doesn't have to be intimidating. Guys, another take home from this, please stop dieting. Dieting is not the answer. In our culture, the word dieting implies a temporary thing. I'm dieting now so I can go to the reunion. I'm dieting now so that I can be ready for Christmas. Dieting, in the way we use it in our culture, is a temporary fix to a permanent or long-term problem. You have to stop thinking about eating as I'm going to eat healthy now and then I'll do whatever. There's a lot of diets out there that people want to sell you that are just not healthy. Here's what I would tell you. Eating healthy is a lifelong journey. It's not about changing a diet in the short term. It's about eating healthy in the long term. And what does that look like? How do you eat healthy? Well, to eat healthy, we need to eat foods as grown, foods as they come from the farmer's market. You've already heard me make that reference once today. Less time at Wendy's, more time at the farmer's market. So you want to look for foods that are grown from the ground, that can be prepared easily and simply. The biggest thing that I will tell you about cholesterol is that it only comes from animals and animal products. There is no cholesterol in broccoli or in carrots or in celery or in kale. Nothing that comes from the ground has cholesterol. The things that have cholesterol are eggs and cheese and meat and those sorts of things. So if you can fill your plate more and more with the vegetables from your meal and less with the meat and the cheese, and you will over time take in less cholesterol and have a healthier outlook. Yes, you need protein and those things are important too, but generally people in the United States aren't dying in the intensive care unit from having too little protein, not in our country. Most people are in the intensive care unit dying right now today because they had too much fat and cholesterol in their diet. So think about that as you're trying to determine your course toward a healthier diet. The best diet is low in fat, low in cholesterol, high in fiber, with lots of water. That's the healthiest diet you can be. And I don't have time right now to go into all of the data behind that, but trust me when I say the more food you can eat as grown from the farm, simply prepared, not processed, that's the way to go. That's the take home there. So living healthy is a journey. It's never too late to start, and even little changes can make a big difference. Maybe instead of parking right by the front door, you're going to park in the back of the parking lot today, and that might, over the course of time, give you more steps and give you more exercise. Guys, I tell you that I was a skeptic about some of these things early on as a nurse. I was not trained, and maybe instead of not giving you a statin drug for your cholesterol, you should start eating less cholesterol. But I have to tell you, I've seen it time and time again where people cut cholesterol out of their diet, they try to eat healthy, and they start coming off of their blood pressure medicine, they start coming off the cholesterol medicine because they work with their physician, and honestly, that's the best way to do it. If you can control these things without having to use medication, that's best for everybody. Heart healthy is valuable at any age. At any age, it's a good time for you to start and to live healthier. What you eat matters, and you can learn new tricks as you go along. You can change your behavior. Little changes can make a big difference. So think about where you park your car. Where are the stairs at work where you work, or at the places at church, or where you volunteer? Could you use the stairs instead of an elevator? Could you walk a little bit farther? Maybe don't push for those parking spots that are so close everyone's fighting for. Go park in the back. No one's going to bother your car. You won't get nicked from a car door, and you'll be heading out to get more steps in and staying healthy. Keep water with you. Having water with you can help increase your hydration and help you do that. To summarize, guys, the most common things that kill Americans are all focused on diseases that we can impact, that we have power over. By controlling our cholesterol, by exercising, by eating right, you can make a big difference. And it's good for your heart, it's good for your brain, it's good for your kidneys, and all of those diseases can be impacted by choosing to live a healthy lifestyle. Eat more foods as grown, drink more water, and start where you are. Thank you guys for being with me today. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great week and enjoy the rest of the health conference this week. And from Kemper House in Worthington, thank you so much. Bye.